My name is Sophia Chue. My grandfather migrated from Hong Kong in the 40s, I think it was. It was two brothers of them. One went to Jamaica and the other one went to New York. So I'm told that any Chues this side of the world we're related to. Our last name initially was Chue, Dew-Chu. Through the immigration process, they chose to go with Chue, which is Chue. My grandmother is a black woman.
Okay.
I tend to say African American, but she's not American, right? So she's a black woman, and it was two sets of kids. There were the Chues, which were the first ones. There were 6 of those, and then she divorced after Mr. Chue died I think a bus ran him over.
Okay.
And then she married a gentleman named Chin, and she had 7 children with him.
Wow, so 13?
Yes,
altogether?
13 on my father's side.
So how did you all end up in Detroit or in Michigan?
How did I end up in Michigan? I'm the sole one.
Okay.
I migrated to my father, back up a little bit. My aunt, my father's sister, came to Connecticut as a housekeeper. The gentleman that owned the house was looking for a painter. So she sent home to Jamaica for her brother, who is my dad, to be his painter. So he came up, I was born 65. He came up in 68 because I was 3 years old. And after he was here for a while, he started working for Hartford Housing Authority. So he retired from there and moved back home. When I was 16, he filed for me.
Okay.
Now, I'm the only child for my mother and my father together. So my mother asked me if I wanted to move up here for better educational opportunities and so on and so. So I migrated to Connecticut when I was 16. I lived there for 2 years, went to college in upstate New York, couldn't afford it, so I joined the military in 1986. I served during Desert Storm, Desert Shield. I was in the service for 8 years as a medic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met a gentleman from Detroit who was in the military, and love brought me to Detroit.
Okay. So, what was that experience in Connecticut, being, I guess, in the United States? Or had you visited before, maybe
Never.
had, trips?
That was my first time. I remember coming over. It was May the 22nd, 1982. My mom put me in this cute little sailor's outfit because that's what they were wearing back in the day. So it was the culottes with the elastic and the legs. So it was blue. And then the shirt was a white sailor top with the red and white around the back of the collar, and a little sweater because it's hot in Jamaica. Get on this plane. It was American Airlines my first port of entry was Miami. I was lost, had no clue. Thank God the airline stewardess was with me, so she walked me through the process of customs. And then I went to Connecticut. That had to be the coldest day in my entire life. I was told that's one of the worst winters in a long time. So I had on a little sweater with this cotton outfit, freezing my buns off. So it was an interesting experience, to say the least. Then it was a world that I wasn't used to.
Mm-hmm.
Big roads, big cars. In Jamaica, we call the way the Americans talk, they're talking with a twang. So there was this twang, so I heard them and I could understand them, but I couldn't communicate with them because my accent was so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the first things I had to learn how to do is to assimilate into the language so you can be understood. I was in 4th form, which is 10th grade in Jamaica. When I came here, my father didn't know much about the educational system or the setup, so I ended up being held back an entire year.
Okay.
So high school for me was boring because I was doing the same thing I had done, and I'm like, why am I here? I can't say I really enjoyed my high school years here, but it was an experience for me that it helped me assimilate more into the culture because I had to make sure I didn't stand out as much because I looked different. I went to an all-Catholic Italian high school, so I looked different from them to begin with. And then I sounded different.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'd go to English class and they want me to read so they could really laugh at me because they couldn't understand what I'm saying. So they'd say, repeat that, repeat that, repeat that. So it was kind of frustrating, but I know I had to get through the process to be successful.